Very good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the current affairs classes. I hope you all are doing well. So today onwards, I'm going to start with the old format only. But there is one addition. The addition is because a lot of students were requesting to switch to old format. So we are switching back to the old format. And one addition is this, that when I cover the entire PDF of whichever date we are covering, after that, I will take up top 5 questions onto it, right? So as to make you attentive in the class, it will help you revise the content, it will increase your attention span in the class as well, right? So after the class, we are going to discuss the top 5 of the same discussion, top 5 MCQs, as the heading you must have seen in the thumbnail, these shorts. Okay, so top 5 shorts will be there. Old content is back. Let's begin with the analysis. Today we are going to cover 12th November CA, and the 11th November news have been covered in the question answer format only in the yesterday's class. So let's begin. The first section which we have in 12th November in ESI Finance and Business News is India's renewable energy sector surges by 24.24 gigawatts. So this is the news I have covered in the 11th November Q&A format as well. Okay, just a second. I think this is the wrong PDF. Just a second. Yeah, so this is the one. Since we have covered the 11th November news, so I'm not going to cover them again, right? Hence, starting with the remaining section of the 12th November news analysis. So first news which we have is India's retail inflation rises to 6.21% in October 2024. India's retail inflation, which is CPI based, as you all know, consumer price index based, has risen. It is 14 months high. Okay, 14 months high. Remember, 6.21% in October 2024. It has reached 6.21. So basically, it has breached the desirable bracket. What is the desirable bracket? 4 plus minus 2%, right? This is the desirable bracket of the inflation target, which the monetary policy or the RBI tries to keep inflation within the range, right? It has increased. So this is CPI based inflation. You all know what is CPI, consumer price index. It tracks the average price rise in the consumer goods. It tracks the inflation in goods as well as services, right? And remember, CPI is very, very important. You should remember all the base years of these indices like CPI, WPI, Index of Industrial Production, etc. So CPI is this. Base year of CPI is 2012. Remember, the base year for CPI is 2012. It has increased the food price. And remember the difference between CPI and WPI. WPI does not takes into account the inflation in the services, right? It only takes into account the price rise in the goods. Consumer price index takes into account both the segments, the goods as well as services. So this is the thing. Next. The Union government has released 15th Finance Commission grants during financial year 24-25 for rural local bodies in Kerala and Meghalaya. So we have seen recently 15th Finance Commission grants being released by the government for several states, right? So for now, Kerala and Meghalaya rural local bodies grants have been released. Now 15th Finance Commission, 16th Finance Commission, any Finance Commission basically concurrent one becomes really important. You have seen recent question regarding the tenure of the 16th Finance Commission, right? So if you see the tenure of the 15th Finance Commission, it is going to make recommendations for a 5-year period from 2021 to 24-25. So hence you see 16th Finance Commission is going to be effective, right? Remember these tenures specifically. And Finance Commission, as you all know, under Article 280 of Indian Constitution, Article 280 of Indian Constitution, it is constituted by a president every 5 years. So it is a constitutional body. It gives recommendations regarding the tax distribution or tax devolution between the center and states, as we call vertical devolution. So remember one thing. In Finance Commission, you have vertical devolution. Vertical devolution. Devolution is basically the distribution of taxes, right? Tax revenue from the central pool. So you have this central pool. Say whatever tax revenue accrues to the central government, which is to be distributed between the center and state, this is the divisible pool, right? Divisible pool. Out of this, how much percentage has to be devolved for all states together is vertical devolution. So presently 41%, right? Now, after that, how it is going to be distributed among several states, all the states and UTs of India, this is known as horizontal devolution. Horizontal devolution. Remember this thing. These two concepts, okay? Horizontal devolution. So this is how Finance Commission works. It gives recommendations regarding the distribution of taxes, allocates grants, it specifies criteria of how grants should be given. So certain grants are performance based, tied, untied, conditional, unconditional, all these things are there, right? And remember who is the chairman of 15th Finance Commission, N.K. Singh, and the upcoming 16th Finance Commission will be chaired by Arvind Pangadia, okay? This is the thing. Now next news. Next, you have the Index of Industrial Production, IIP growth rate. IIP growth rate for the month of September is 3.1, which was minus 0.1% in the month of August. So growth rates of these three sectors are there. It is showing signs of improvement. Basically, the Index of Industrial Production. Okay, mining, you see, manufacturing, electricity, their performances are given. You need not remember the sectoral growth here, not at all. You just remember the recent data and then the base year of IIP. And what is IIP? So base year of IIP, remember, is 2011-12. We have seen the base year of CPI, it was 2012. IIP, it is 2011-12. Index of Industrial Production basically is an economic indicator. It gives you an idea how your industries, the core industries, they are performing in the economy. Their industrial production it tries to assess. And one more important fact regarding IIP, which you cannot miss upon because it has been asked lot number of times, is that the 8 core industries, we have discussed this point number of times. 8 core industries have 40.27% weightage, 40.27% weightage in the IIP, right? 40.27. This figure has clearly been asked in the examination. So remember this thing, 8 core industries. I will be waiting for all the names of 8 core industries, okay? So if anyone can tell me all the names of the 8 core industries. So remember this thing, it was regarding IIP. Now moving on to the next news. You have 200 crore decentralized green hydrogen scheme. So the government, central government basically has launched 200 crore scheme. So this much has been allocated for implementation of, it will be started in a pilot project manner. So it will be a pilot project at the initial phase, right? Pilot projects will be conducted. So it will be experimented and then after that, in the full-fledged manner, it will be rolled out. So Government of India has launched 200 crore scheme for the implementation of pilot projects for production and use of green hydrogen. Green hydrogen, as you all know, is a sustainable fuel. So we all trying to achieve our target of net zero emissions, right? Regarding that, these all kind of schemes, they are being rolled out by the central government to achieve net zero target as well as to reduce the dependence on the fossil fuel consumption, right? So use of green hydrogen, it is there. So it will include cooking, heating, off-grid electricity generation, powering off-road vehicles with the help of green hydrogen. Okay, remember this amount, 200 crore have been allocated for this decentralized green hydrogen. It will not be centralized. Various stakeholders and states will be participating in it. Remember that. 200 crores. Now moving on to the regulatory bodies news. Yesterday, if you remember, in the 11th November Q&A session, I have asked you this question that SEBI has proposed that it may expand the ambit of unpublished price-sensitive information by including restructuring plans, etc. So SEBI is trying to expand the ambit of UPSI, unpublished price-sensitive information, which holds a potential of manipulating the market with the help of insider trading and all, right? So curbing these activities is actually essential in order to provide a fair marketplace for all the traders and provide transparency in the market. Now, accordingly, SEBI has also proposed that it is going to make it mandatory for all listed companies or entities to disclose the outcome of their meetings of board of directors held to discuss such price sensitive information within 30 minutes of their closure. Any such meeting which has discussed price sensitive information, any such board of directors meeting of all the listed entities which are there, you have to disclose that information, the minutes of the meeting within 30 minutes, remember, within 30 minutes of their closure of the meeting. Remember that. This is important, and I have made a question on this in the 11th November class. If you were there, you have seen this thing, right? So 30 minutes. Now next question, in the national and state news. National and state news mein, we have Prime Minister's, during the Prime Minister's Bihar visit, the Prime Minister will be inaugurating foundation stone and dedicate multiple development projects to the nation. Major projects which are there is establishment of AIMS, okay, Darbhanga, then national highway projects are there, railway projects certain are there, and petroleum, natural gas sector related projects are there. These kind of projects are going to be inaugurated in Bihar. This is not so much important and nothing to be remembered here. Then next you have Union Minister of Commerce and Industry has announced that a new campus of Indian Institute of Foreign Trade will be opened up in Dubai. We have taken a question on this on 11th November as well, right? I have asked you this question. A new campus of the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade has to be established where? Dubai, okay? And this was announced at the 57th convocation of IIFT in New Delhi. Then you have this news in the series, the National Book Trust of India. National Book Trust of India. If you look at this organization, the National Book Trust of India, it was established with the aim of expanding the interest in reading and books, right? So National Book Trust of India has showcased a prestigious replica of original handwritten Indian Constitution, replica of handwritten Indian Constitution at 43rd Sharjah International Book Fair. I have covered this question in the Q&A format as well, right? So it holds importance. And remember this thing, which edition? 43rd. Where did it happen? International Book Fair, Sharjah in UAE. So 43rd session of Sharjah International Book Fair. Okay, this was A3 size copy of the Indian Constitution. And I have asked you this question, if you remember from the yesterday's class, who has been declared as the guest of honor, or which country is the guest of honor at 43rd Sharjah International Book Fair? So the correct answer is Morocco. So remember, Morocco is the guest of honor in this event. Now next news. First Deputy Prime Minister of Russia, Denis Manturov, has reached Mumbai on a visit to India. So this person is in news basically. Then we have a high-level committee under the chairmanship of Union Home Minister Amit Shah has proposed three projects around 726 crore rupees for Chhattisgarh, Odisha and West Bengal, okay? And they have been approved under the expansion and modernization of fire services in these states. So remember, three states are there. You have Chhattisgarh, Odisha and West Bengal. For expansion of fire services, these new projects will be initiated. Then next you have researchers at IIT Ropar. IIT Ropar. They have unveiled an innovative solution to make the continuous passive motion therapy more accessible and affordable. Now, what is this continuous passive motion therapy? Continuous passive motion therapy is basically used to cure any joint injury, for example, right? It helps you in the movement of, say, if you have an injury at, in the knee, right? So it will help you in movement of your limbs, okay? So these kind of technology, they are utilized in the medical industry. Now, since they are expensive, so IIT Ropar has come up with an innovative solution to provide this technology, to make this technology more accessible and affordable, right? So remember, continuous passive motion therapy helps in curing the joint pain, etc., joint injury, etc. Then we have the 10th Mission Steering Group under the chairmanship of Union Minister of Textiles has approved 12 research projects under the National Technical Textiles Mission. So 12 projects have been approved under the National Technical Textiles Mission. So what becomes important here is, what is a technical textile? It is different from the fabrics we wear, right? So generally the textiles which we know in daily use, they are created for the aesthetic purposes, right? Technical textiles are particularly manufactured for industry uses. Okay, they are manufactured to be used in, say, industry. Some of them, they are fire resistant, so that they do not catch up fire, right? So they have a lot of application. Technical textiles, remember, they are textiles particularly manufactured not for aesthetic purposes but for industry applications, whichever industry it is. It can be automotive, it can be pharmaceutical, etc. Okay. And that's how you also remember this thing. We have National Technical Textiles Mission, because technical textiles, they are essential for the industry expansion, right? Which is a flagship scheme of Ministry of Textiles, which focuses on development of R&D, the research and development capabilities of local industry, and particularly areas of high performance fiber development. They want to promote R&D in this sector so that we create these kind of fibers. Then we have another news coming from Kandla, India's first major port in Gujarat. Kandla is India's first major port from Gujarat. Kandla is in news because it is planning to increase its cargo handling capacity by 40%. So by 40% is going to expand its cargo handling capacity, and that is going to reach 390 million tons per annum. 390 million tons per annum. This is going to aid India's exports, because Kandla is one of the major export ports, right? So this is the thing. It is also, remember, it is also known as the Deen Dayal port or the Kandla port, located in Gujarat. Then in the state news, if you see, this is not important. Andhra Pradesh government has presented a full budget, and the budget amounts to 2.94 lakh crore rupees. Not so much important. Then we have Kerala Tourism Minister flagging off the amphibian aircraft from the backwaters at Kochi Marina. This aircraft basically has been inaugurated to boost tourism in the state by connecting various airports. Okay, and it is going to operate from the backwaters. What are these backwaters? So if you have seen these boat race, you have a famous, Kerala has a famous boat race. I think the correct name is Vallam Kali boat race, right? As they call it in the local language, Vallam Kali. So it happens in the backwaters. That's why backwaters are quite popular. What are these backwaters? These are basically lagoons. So they are far away from the main oceanic current. Hence, the water is quite stagnant, right? So it is ideal for tourism and boating, etc. And it gets separated from the main water body due to some barriers. So these are lagoons kind of structures, backwaters. Okay. Then you have UP Chief Minister has launched UP's first or state's first double-decker electric bus, remember. So Uttar Pradesh's first double-decker electric bus has been inaugurated at the Akanksha Hut program at Indira Gandhi Pratishthan. Okay, this is to provide to reduce the traffic problems, and there will be a 50% discount on tickets for women passengers traveling through this bus. So 50% discount on the ticket for women passengers is also a highlight from this. And Hinduja Group is establishing this manufacturing plant in UP. So this really becomes important. Remember, when UP has this first double-decker electric bus, who is going to manufacture this? So this is going to be manufactured by the Hinduja Group. Remember, okay, by the Hinduja Group. Then we have certain international news. So you see, due to some geopolitical tensions and some political tensions, to be more specific, this is of international relations. We are not going to discuss those reasons. You all know what is happening, right, between India and Canada. So you see, as a result, the Canadian government has ended the Student Direct Stream program. Student Direct Stream program, it used to provide quick access of student visa, etc., for all the international students who wanted to study in Canada. You see, a lot of Indian students, they want to go and settle into Canada, right, for job purposes, for education purposes as well. But this is now being ended by the Canadian government, so it is going to affect a lot of international students from countries, not only India, but from a range of countries. So apart from India, students from China, Pakistan, Brazil, Senegal, and several other countries are going to be affected. So remember this, that this Student Direct Stream program belongs to Canada, and the government has decided to end this. What are the reasons? You all are well aware of that. Then you have certain MOUs and mergers. So Assam government has signed a tripartite MOU with the Capacity Building Commission and Karma Yogi Bharat, with which is a particular SPV. SPV is a special purpose vehicle, which is established to serve a particular purpose, right? So it is Guwahati based SPV. This agreement has been signed for capacity building of civil servants. So Karma Yogi, Mission Karma Yogi is basically for capacity building of the civil servants or bureaucrats in India. Okay. Then we have the National Industrial Corridor Development Corporation and Bihar Industrial Area Development Authority. They have signed an agreement for the establishment of integrated manufacturing cluster at Gaya in Bihar. So remember the location, integrated manufacturing cluster at Gaya in Bihar is to be established. Now this is going to expand the capabilities of industrial production, and it is going to be an industrial node. So all kind of industries, markets, they will be connected through it. Then you have engineering and technology services firm L&T Technology, quite famous. L&T Technology Services, it has signed a definitive agreement to acquire Silicon Valley based IntelliSwift for 110 million. So it is going to acquire Silicon Valley based IntelliSwift, okay, or US based IntelliSwift for $110 million. It is going to be acquired by L&T Tech. Remember that. Then we have Ambuja Cements. Has sought approval from the Competition Commission of India to acquire majority stakes in CK Birla Group. Okay, CK Birla Group from Orient Cement Limited. Orient Cement Limited, they want to acquire a majority stake, so that's why they have sought an approval from the Competition Commission of India. Let's see the next one. So we have India's Bharat Dynamics Limited has signed an MOU with Russia's Rosoboron Export to facilitate cooperation for variants of advanced Pantsir air defense missile gun system. On this air defense missile gun system, they want to collaborate, India and Russia basically. So you need to understand this thing. What is this Pantsir air defense system? Okay. This air defense system is originally developed by Russia. It is quite advanced, and as you see, this is air defense to protect military installations and critical infrastructure from any aerial threats which you have. So India wants to collaborate on this technology, including aircrafts, drones, precision guided munitions. So you can prevent your military, your borders from any such threat with the help of this. So remember, this Pantsir air defense system belongs to Russia. Then we have Ministry of External Affairs and BIMSTEC, the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Scientific, Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, BIMSTEC. You know, BIMSTEC is a group set up by the countries in the Bay of Bengal region like India, Bangladesh, etc. These countries, they collaborate on a wide range of spheres, right? From economic to technical. So this BIMSTEC group and your Indian Ministry of External Affairs, they have signed an agreement to establish a BIMSTEC Energy Center in Bangalore. Now this is going to be important. Remember, BIMSTEC's Energy Center has to be established where? Bangalore. Okay, remember this fact, this is going to be important. And this is to enhance security in the energy security sector. Okay, enhance cooperation in the energy security sector. Energy security particularly. Remember the location, Bangalore. Then we have science and tech. Science tech mein you have DRDO successfully conducting the flight test of long range land attack cruise missile from a mobile articulated launcher. So recently DRDO has test fired long range land attack cruise missile. That's why it is in news. And this was test fired from where? Remember, from the integrated test range at Chandipur, which is off coast, the state of Odisha. So remember this thing. Then next we have is your IIT Madras. IIT Madras has collaborated with ISRO. For what? So this collaboration becomes important. IIT Madras and ISRO have collaborated to establish a center of excellence for research in the fluid and thermal sciences. They are planning to establish a center of excellence for research in fluid and thermal sciences. What will be the application of this? Why is this important? Fluid and thermal sciences, you see, they have a lot range of application in the engineering segment, right? So thermodynamics and fluid studies, they have application in the engineering spheres. So this is going to be there, a collaboration between IIT Madras and ISRO. And if you see, the center is going to act as a nodal center for spacecraft and launch vehicle related thermal management research activities of ISRO. So any launch vehicle related or spacecraft related activities, it is going to be there. And the thermal projects regarding the design, analysis, testing of various components, they will be prime area of focus for IIT Madras. Okay. Then in the defense, if you see, so Home Ministry has approved the establishment. Now remember this thing also, Home Ministry, the MHA has approved establishment of all women battalion of the CISF, Central Industrial Security Force. Okay, all women battalion of CISF. Then you have Air Marshal Ashutosh Dikshit has inaugurated the Indian Air Force C-295, remember this name, C-295 full motion simulator facility at Air Force Station in Agra. C-295 full motion simulator facility at Agra. What is this? This is going to give real time scenario, provide real time environment or realistic environment, and it will train pilots in this realistic environment, right? So that they can operate it into the practical arena. So C-295 full motion simulator facility, Agra, remember that. Then we have, solid state physics laboratory, which is a DRDO laboratory, solid state physics laboratory, a DRDO laboratory. It has successfully developed indigenous processes for growing and manufacturing 4-inch diameter silicon carbide wafers. Silicon carbide wafers, remember this name, plus gallium nitride high electron mobility transistors. So these two things are in news, these two names, okay, silicon carbide wafers and gallium nitride high electron mobility transistors. This has been proposed to be developed indigenously within India, okay, proposed by Solid State Physics Laboratory. Why do we want to manufacture all these things within the country? Because it has application in the semiconductor industry. Semiconductor industry, remember. And what is the importance of semiconductor industry? Something which I don't need to tell you again, right? Semiconductor industry is the industry of future. So we are trying to expand our capacity in terms of semiconductor industry. That's why these news, they become important. So these silicon carbide wafers and transistors, they are utilized in semiconductor industry. That's why important. Then we have authority holding sealed particulars of P7 parachute system. They have been handed over to Directorate General of Quality Assurance by Aerial Delivery Research and Development Establishment, Agra, which is a DRDO laboratory. Now, what is this P7 parachute system? P7 parachute system, if you see, a lot of parachutes will be there, right? And they will be lifting heavy materials. So they can lift. This P7 parachute system is designed in such a way it can lift a lot of heavy bulky material for the military, right? So this is in news, that's why it becomes important, and its authority holding sealed particulars have been transferred to DG of Quality Assurance. All right. Then you have Indian Coast Guard and Sri Lanka Coast Guard. They have conducted 7th annual high-level meeting in Colombo recently. This is not so much important. Then moving on to reports. So we have this important report here. The World Meteorological Organization, WMO, has released a report titled State of Climate 2024. State of the Climate 2024 report is there, out by World Meteorological Organization. Now it has revealed, remember this thing, this is going to be important. It has revealed 2015 to 24 period has been the warmest 10 years on record ever. On record, right? So 2015 to 24, that's why this really becomes important, this fact. Remember that for any upcoming examination, this is important. 2015 to 24 period has been highlighted as the warmest 10-year period on record. Okay. And this was released on the sidelines of COP29, COP29 climate conference currently underway in Baku, Azerbaijan. And the report is a red alert over the ever-increasing greenhouse gas levels. So you see, it has also revealed that January-September 2024 में global mean surface air temperature was 1.54 degrees centigrade above the pre-industrial average. So the global average temperature is rising. That shows the harmful effects of the greenhouse gases. We need to immediately take action to curb, have a structured plan and sustainable plan for the reduction and eradication of the emission of greenhouse gases. Otherwise, you see, the global average temperature will keep on rising, right? Now, one more important fact here which you need to remember, since World Meteorological Organization is in news. So remember the headquarters of WMO as well. The headquarters of WMO is Geneva, Switzerland. And greenhouse gases, you all know, the gases which are responsible for the greenhouse effect, which increases the average temperature of the earth. One more important fact, remember, carbon dioxide is not a polluting gas, okay? Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. It is responsible for rising temperature, global average temperature. Then awards mein you have Kunal Kunal Dalal has been honored as, remember this name, this personality, as Education Leader of the Year. Education Leader of the Year for lot of contributions, and at the Education World India School Ranking Awards 24-25. So Kunal Dalal has been awarded with the as the Education Leader of the Year. You can search about this person. Is a managing director of I think JBCM company. Then we have Law and Justice Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal has released a book titled Ma Mother. Remember this book, Ma Mother, a book titled Ma Mother, has been written by Dr. Devendra Kumar Dudhavat, Additional Secretary to Governor Kerala. This book is in news. It gives illustration of the entire motherhood in form of poems that are written in Hindi as well as English. So Ma Mother book is in news. Remember the writer as well, Dr. Devendra Kumar Dudhavat. Then if we talk about the festival, so we have 66th All India Kalidas Samaroh in Ujjain held in Madhya Pradesh, and this thing is something I have covered in the Q&A format of 11 November as well, so need not go into this again. Kalidas Samaroh gives Kalidas Samman as well for a lot of contributions in art, etc. Then you have Igaz Festival. Igaz Festival. So residents across Uttarakhand, particularly in the Garhwal region, they have recently celebrated this Budhi Diwali or Igaz. It is celebrated after 11 days, okay, after the main Diwali. So it belongs to Uttarakhand, remember. Then you have Lavi Fair. Lavi Fair in news. 4-day international Lavi Fair has started in Shimla, Himachal Pradesh. Okay, so Lavi Fair is a famous fair coming from which region? Shimla, Himachal Pradesh. Remember the location. Then you have National Education Society for Tribal Students, NESTS, National Education Society for Tribal Students. It is to organize 5th National EMRS Cultural and Literary Fest and Kala Utsav 2024. So 5th edition of National EMRS. EMRS is Eklavya Model Residential School. You all know Eklavya Model Residential Schools have been particularly set up to assist the students coming from particularly the tribal backgrounds in pursuing their educational, in completing their educational journey. So 5th edition of National EMRS Cultural and Literary Fest is going to be there in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. And remember the theme as well. Theme will be a tribute to Bhagwan Birsa Munda and tribal freedom fighters. So you know the name of Birsa Munda, the very famous personality and celebrated figure for the tribal community as well. So Birsa Munda based theme is there, tribute to Bhagwan Birsa Munda and tribal freedom fighters. Birsa Munda is also a tribal freedom fighter. Then in the sports, you have 38th, remember 38th All India Postal Badminton Tournament has begun at Chamundi Vihar Indoor Stadium in Mysuru. So 38th edition of All India Postal Badminton Tournament. Then if you talk about the appointments, so appointments may we have Government of India extending the tenure of Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri. Till 14th July 2026, the tenure has been extended. Then opposition leader Dr. Naveen Ramlungam has won landslide victory in Mauritius Prime Minister election. So remember this name. Then Justice Sanjeev Khanna. Now this is going to be important. Remember, Justice Sanjeev Khanna has taken oath as the 51st Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Then Australian government has appointed Chris Evans as the country's first anti-slavery commissioner for a 5-year term. So remember this person in news for being the first anti-slavery commission in Australia. Then US President-elect Donald Trump has appointed Tom Homan as charge of the country's borders in his new administration. Then the another person in news is Alex Didier, sworn in as Prime Minister of Caribbean country Haiti. So remember this name, Alex Didier, sworn in recently as the Prime Minister of the Caribbean nation Haiti. Then this is again important. Sonu Sood, the famous Bollywood personality, Sonu Sood, and renowned actor philanthropist, has been appointed as the brand ambassador and advisor for Thailand tourism. So Sonu Sood has been appointed as brand ambassador for Thailand tourism. Then you have Tayyab Ikram being re-elected as president of International Hockey Federation. So remember this name, it is really important. Tayyab Ikram re-elected as the International Hockey Federation president. Then you have Kyunhai Lee re-elected as World Sailing president for further 4-year terms. Okay, so Lee Kyunhai has re-elected as World Sailing president for the second term. And this organization's headquarters is in London. World Sailing headquarters is in London, remember that. Then you have certain conferences. So now you should remember this, that 29th session of the Conference of Parties to UN, 29th session is in news because it is recently conducted from 11 to 26 November. Remember the location at Baku, Azerbaijan. Okay, the primary goal of the COP29 is to bring together countries to develop a further plan of curbing global warming, because you see the looming effects of global warming, right? And key issues to be discussed here will be climate finance, how to finance climate or sustainable projects, loss and damage, then nationally determined contributions of every country and emission reduction targets, global goal on adaptation and national adaptation plans, unequal climate impacts, nature-based solutions, carbon markets. India also wants to develop its own carbon market, remember that, right? Where you trade the carbon permits. If an industry has underutilized the permit, it can sell it off to someone who has over or who has exhausted the limit and wants to purchase this to emit further, right? And climate related geopolitical tensions, conflicts, etc. And India is going to host these side events related to this COP29. Now, what is this Conference of Parties? It is an annual meeting of the members of UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, where they meet and discuss the concurrent issues. If you look at the first such meeting, it was held in Berlin, Germany, 1995. Okay. So far, the COP has a lot of milestones achieved, like you have the Kyoto Protocol, which was adopted at COP 3 in Kyoto, Japan in 1997, remember, and Paris Agreement, which is adopted in COP21 in Paris. They all are associated with reduction of ozone layer, ozone and protection of ozone layer, also the reduction of greenhouse gases, etc. So Montreal Protocol, Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreements are very famous in climate change adaptation. Okay. Also, a legally binding international treaty it has to limit global temperature below 2 degrees Celsius and preferably below 1.5 degrees Celsius. This is a legally binding thing on all the members, but we are far away from achieving this target. The global temperature have already breached this limit, right? Next thing which we have is D30, De-Addiction and Disability Awareness Summit is in news, where it was held. So remember, it was held in Kathmandu, Nepal, and it has discussed in depth the disabilities caused by drug abuse. So it is to raise awareness about the probable harms of drug consumption, drug abuse. Then this is SATRC. We have already discussed this thing in yesterday 11 November Q&A format, where I asked you the South Asian Telecommunication Regulatory Council's full form, right? So recently the 25th meeting has been inaugurated, and we have also discussed the countries: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Iran, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. This is already covered in 11 November. Then you have Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority in collaboration with your National Council of Applied Economic Research and Bombay Stock Exchange. They have organized a workshop, Digitalization of Financial Education, a modern approach for investor protection and capital market development. On 11 November, it took at the BSE International Convention Hall in Mumbai. So remember the participants here, or all those who have collaborated for this. So you have Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority, National Council of Applied Economic Research, and Bombay Stock Exchange. Then you have CSIR, Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, and National Institute for Scientific and Policy Research, something is like this is the full form. So CSIR, NISCPR, and Gurugram University, they are set to organize international conference on communication and dissemination of traditional knowledge, where they want to highlight the importance and usage of traditional knowledge, right? And they have also started an initiative, remember the Swastik initiative. So you should remember the full form of Swastik. Swastik refers to scientifically validated societal traditional knowledge. Okay, scientifically validated societal traditional knowledge. This aims to preserve and perpetuate the practice of appropriate tradition. All those traditions which have a scientific backing, scientific reason, they want to preserve them. So remember Swastik initiative of this. Swastik refers to scientifically validated societal traditional knowledge. Then you have the National Financial Reporting Authority. National Financial Reporting Authority, NFRA. NFRA is an important body. It oversees the accounting and auditing functioning of the companies, right? It ensures that the accounting and auditing, it happens properly in the most efficient manner. It held its recent meeting, and where it has approved its standards on quality control. So it has recommended a lot of things like revision of standard on quality control, SQC1. So just remember that this SQC1 belongs to the auditing and all, right? And then SA600, it has also been revised on the line of global standard ISA. All these, basically this SA600, particularly SA600 mechanism, it gives the overall responsibility of auditing to the group auditor, right? So that the entire responsibility of conducting the audit efficiently belongs to the group auditor, and then these are the auditing and accounting norms for the companies. They have given certain revisions which are going to be effective from 1st April 2026. So you need not remember all these changes. You just remember what does it belong to and when is it going to be effective. 1st April 2026 it is going to be effective. Then moving on to obituaries and all. So we have world-renowned Mridangam scholar Vardarao Kamalkar Rao has passed away at the age of 88, and he has received the Central Sangeet Natak Akademi Award in 2023 recently. So remember this name. He was a disciple of Palgat Mani Iyer. Then we have freedom fighter Madan Mohan Somitya, a warrior from Mewar Praja Mandal, who has played an important role during India's freedom struggle, has also passed away at the age of 102. Then we have Harinder Singh Sodhi, fondly known as the Billy, celebrated figure in Indian polo, is also there in this segment. Then we have important days. So Public Service Broadcasting Day 2024 celebrated on 12th November. Remember, Public Service Broadcasting Day is celebrated on 12th November. Then you have, okay, so this becomes a question. Which bank recently has celebrated its 106th Foundation Day? Union Bank of India, headquartered in Mumbai. Then we have Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank observed 103rd Foundation Day, headquarters Thoothukudi, Tamil Nadu. Then we have World Pneumonia Day observed every year on November 12th to raise awareness about pneumonia. So World Pneumonia Day, remember, and remember the theme for Pneumonia Day 2024. It is every breath counts, stop pneumonia in its track. Every breath counts, stop pneumonia in its track. Then we have World Quality Week 2024, observed from 11th to 15th November. Okay. And the theme for World Quality Week 2024 is quality from compliance to performance. Quality from compliance to performance. This is the theme. Then we have National Education Day, 11 November. Every year, India celebrates 11th November as National Education Day to honor the first Education Minister of Independent India, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. Okay, birth anniversary 11th November of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, the first Education Minister of Independent India, is celebrated as National Education Day. So these were the current affairs articles which we had for 12th of November. Now, as I told you, we will be discussing top 5 questions from the discussion which we do in the class, right? So these are the shorts which we have added, shorts, the short highlights of topics of top stories, short highlights of top stories. So whatever top news, now top, who will decide that these news are on the top? As per the latest trend of the examination, whatever they are asking, right? So these shorts are there. First question, according to the latest data, now since it is based on the discussion which we had today only in the class, so tell me the answers quickly. According to the latest data released by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, India's CPI based retail inflation has accelerated to a 14 months high. How much percentage? Quickly tell me. First news which we have covered today, 14-month high. CPI based retail inflation is 14-month high at, so the correct answer here is 6.21%. Okay, the first news article which we have covered today, 6.21%. Next, the Canadian government has ended student direct stream program recently, right? We have covered today. It is going to affect the students from which of the following countries? India, Pakistan, Senegal, Brazil, or all of the above? Tell me. Okay, just a second. Yes, so we have covered this thing. All of these countries are going to be affected a lot by this scheme, by the end of this scheme, right? International students are going to be worst hit. Next question. India has recently signed an agreement to establish BIMSTEC Energy Center. I have told you this is important, right? BIMSTEC Energy Center, recently India has signed an MOU with the BIMSTEC countries, Ministry of External Affairs, to establish this BIMSTEC Energy Center at which of these following locations? Tell me. Bangalore, Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai, Visakhapatnam. Since we have recently discussed these news, you should be remembering these facts, right? So the correct answer here is Bangalore. If you remember from the discussion, Bangalore, they are going to set up this BIMSTEC Energy Center. Fourth question, the WMO, World Meteorological Department Organization, has released a report titled State of the Climate 2024, which has revealed, okay, so the answer is mistakenly there in the question itself. Basically, the question was which period have been revealed as the warmest 10-year on record. So the right answer will be 2015-24 period. Warmest 10 years on record, remember 2015 to 24 period. This is going to be very important fact. Then last question of these shorts, top 5 questions may say, who has been honored as the Education Leader of the Year at Education World India School Ranking Awards 24-25. So if you remember the name, we have recently discussed in the class. Education Leader of the Year, Kunal Dalal, Renuka Dalal, Neeta Ambani or Aditya Birla at the World India School Ranking Awards 24-25. So the correct option is Kunal Dalal. right? Remember this name. These were the shorts which we had for today's class. All right, these were the shorts, the top 5 topics from today's class, and we will continue in this format. Tell me if it is useful for you, right? I hope this really becomes useful and you have understood all these key news. I've tried to explain whatever is there, whatever concept needs to be explained in the class. Thank you so much for being interactive. I'll see you all in the next session. Till then, have a great day. Thank you so much. See you in the next class.